Good evening everyone, my name is blaYde and I'm a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that.
My name is Enzo Amore, and I am a certified G and a bona fide stud, and can't teach that.
No, Enzo, I just said that, mate, not you. Anyway, welcome to my WWE 2K16 on PC review. Just before we go too far, there is a loading error that has not yet been patched with WWE 2K16 on PC that just sticks on the Stone Cold Steve Austin splash screen forever and ever. There is a way of getting around this. It does require a bit of digging through your files. So the way you do it very quickly, go to your Steam library in your file explorer, go into the Steam Apps folder, go into the Common folder, and then find the WWE 2K16 folder. And then when you're in there, right click on the WWE 2K16 exe file and run it as administrator, and you shouldn't have any more problems, hopefully. So before we get into the gameplay as such, let's take a quick look at the settings. The graphics, as you can see, there is quite a few options here. We've got MSAA and SMAA, I believe, with varying options. You can change the textures, all sorts. It's got some pretty good options. VSync, I have actually got it on. Normally I turn it off, but I don't seem to be having any issues with it turned on. And we can take a quick look at the benchmark. So this is the benchmark running with MSAA off completely. And as you can see, the results are pretty good. We have a minimum frame rate of 55, an average of 59, and a maximum of 61. Now, my specs on my PC, they aren't rubbish by a long shot, but they're nothing amazing. I will put them down in the description so you can have a look and kind of compare it to what you've got on your setup to see what sort of performance you might be able to achieve at home. The big difference is when you put MSAA on. That first one was with it off, so now we'll put MSA on full, that's times 8, and we'll run this benchmark again and see what results we get back. Okay, so as you can see, it is a lot different with MSAA on. We get a minimum frame rate of 29, we've got an average of 41 and a maximum of 61. Now, it is worth noting that although we did get a maximum of 61, it was only flitting right up there very quickly, and then dropping straight back down again. It ran like it was in slow motion, basically what it was. That's kind of the point. So yeah, if you are having any performance issues, knock the MSAA on the head completely. It is complete resource hog by the looks of it. Now, getting back to the first one just quickly, you'll notice that the average was 59, and that's pretty much all it stayed at. It was just going between sort of 60 and 59 pretty much all the time. So yeah, for best results, turn MSAA on, and I haven't had any issues, but last year turning down the amount of crowd actually worked pretty well to improve frame rates. That's something worth noting if you are having issues. So getting on to the game itself then, there is a lot of game modes in here, a lot more than there was last year, and there's pretty much full complement of gameplay modes. There is over 120 wrestlers, and the PC version, you get all of the DLC included in the game. You do not have to buy that extra like you had to do on the console. Now, some people might want to go through and have to unlock all the wrestlers and everything, and that's fair enough, that's part of the game. Some people might not. And with the PC option, because you've got all the DLC included, you also have the option to unlock everything straight off the bat. And you do this by going into the options menu, and there is an unlockable section in there which allows you to unlock everything. There is also a huge amount of arenas you can choose from, absolutely massive. They're more than you'll probably ever need. They've got all the WrestleManias, I believe. They've got tons of Raws, SmackDowns, all the pay-per-views, new and old. It's crazy. Just once you've got them unlocked, or if you unlock them all, just take a look. It's weird. Okay, so we've also got the obviously the career mode. Now, I'm not including the career mode as part of this review. I do want some more time with that just to see how in depth it is, because last year's was a bit shallow once you got into it. So I'm going to take a little bit more, and that'll be coming up on a separate video. You've got the 2K Showcase, which is going through the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin, and is an absolute blast. I absolutely enjoyed doing it. I grew up watching wrestling when I was younger, during the Attitude Era, when obviously Austin was king, and just to go through that all again and see his rise to fame is amazing. There's also a lot of Legends matches in the Hall of Fame section of the 2K Showcase, and that's very good as well. So let's take a look at some gameplay options. To be honest, it's such a vast improvement on last year's. I believe I gave it a 6 or a 7 out of 10, and I am actually going to downgrade that to probably a 4 or 5. That's how much better this is, because this is the real deal, pretty much. The animations are fantastic, in the most part. There are a few glitches that I've seen. People getting a bit confused with ladder matches. I believe I was fighting Kane. He went outside the ring to get a ladder, and he was stood by the ladder, but he wasn't picking it up. He was just kind of walking straight into it, but walking on the spot. So, you know, there are still a few glitches, but generally speaking, the moves are so fluid. You know, when people pull off the moves, it's absolutely fantastic. Great work. The graphics on that goes into some of the character models is outstanding, really. Some of them, that is. Some of them are not very good at all, and you'll be able to tell that quite easily. Again, I'm going to still pick up with the terrible hair animations. I know it's a very difficult thing to do, and not many games can pull it off, but it still looks so bad when you're playing with someone with long hair like Daniel Bryan or whatever. It looks terrible. So one of the new additions to the actual gameplay this year was the reverse bar. So each character has a number of reverse bars underneath the health meter. Each characters have a different amount depending on the character's stats, and these can be used to reverse. So you no longer got like one trigger for reversing physical hits and one trigger for reversing like grapples. This just counts as one. It's on the right trigger, and as long as you time it right, you will reverse it, and it takes one of those bars away. Now, these bars do recharge over time, but they are pretty slow, so you do have to keep an eye on them, and you know, really watch it, because there's been a couple of times when I've used all of them up very quickly, and then I get my ass kicked for the next 5 minutes because I've got no reverse moves left, so there's not really a lot you can do. Once they start beating on you, there's not a lot you can do until it starts recharging back up again. That being said, I have to say, I do find that kicking out of pins is very easy this year. As long as you time it pretty much right, you can get it. As you know, if you've got a pretty good hand-to-eye coordination, you should be able to get one of the three. You know, it's the same sort of thing as last year, that the meter goes up, you've got to hit it in the allocated space to kick out. So, like I say, as long as you're pretty good at that, you can take an absolute pounding, have pretty much no health left, and still be able to kick out reasonably easy. It's probably something that they should look into. Commentary. Now, when it came out on console, I did have a look at some of the reviews for that on console, and people were saying how refreshing the commentary was, saying that it seemed to be quite varied. Now, this is no word of a lie. I loaded up 2K16 on the PC, and I set up a 1v1 match between The Undertaker and Stone Cold, I want to say. Can't really remember too much. And I got pretty much the same commentary for both people coming out to the ring, from Michael Cole and the King. So it can't be that bloody varied. I've not noticed that it's like grated on me. like back in the old days, the commentary was terrible. It was repeating all the time, and that used to grate on you. So, you know, I've not noticed that, so it's a good thing, I suppose. The online element is pretty good as well. Again, it's pretty much self-explanatory. The only thing that I don't like about it is that you pick the match that you want to play first. So you'd have to pick, and you pick the stipulation as well. So if you wanted a one-on-one, that's fair enough. But then you have to pick, like, if you want a ladder match, just a normal one, a Hell in a Cell, whatever. And then it matches you up against someone else who's also picked that match. Now, obviously on PC you're not going to get a huge amount of a player base on this, I wouldn't have thought. Not like you're going to get on the consoles where it's going to sell a lot more. So, you know, you can be sat waiting for matches for a long time. I mean, I was been waiting quite a while just to play one-on-one matches. The first night on its release night, in about 6 matches I played the same guy 4 times. So even though I bought the game, or the matchmaking was just pairing me up with this same dude over and over again. I don't know, but you know, it works, and it's good fun to know that you're beating down another human being. It's always good fun. So that's about it, guys. It is worlds above what came last year, and it's just what the PC was after. I think they rushed last year's out because I believe it was the first one that was out on the new generation of consoles. So they wanted to get that out, and they couldn't finish all the features that they wanted to do, and it wasn't as polished as what they were like, but they needed to get the game out there, and the PC just got a port of that. Whereas this, they've obviously took some time and really put in some effort and made a great game. And for that reason, I'm going to give WWE 2K16 on PC an 8 out of 10, and you can believe that.